Today we're going to go over everything with Apex Legends Season 16's crazy update from new permanent modes, playlists, new classes, legend adjustments, weapons, maps, and more. I was fortunate enough to get invited to take a look and even play the brand new season a little early, and there is so much to talk about. I want to get right into it, but be sure to hit that like button and sub for more, as we have over a dozen videos releasing in the next couple days alone. Also, big thanks to EA and Respawn for inviting me to check out the new season a little early. Season 16 has us taking a step back, but not necessarily in terms of content. More so, it's really about analyzing what has made the game great for the past 4 years of its release. For the first time ever, we are not getting a new legend, but we are getting that new weapon of the energy-based Nemesis Burst AR, which is the first new gun since Season 11. First though, the big shakeups of the season are going to be the brand new and reworked classes, which more or less introduce new mechanics for every single legend. Every legend better has a class that is meaningful, impacts gameplay, and frankly, just makes sense, since some of the classes before basically meant nothing. Through all of this, you will unlock another level of strategy for your individual play and how you are going to round out your squad, as you can't get every perk from every class, as you can only have 3 players in the squad. The new classes are Assault, Skirmisher, Recon, Controller, and Support. The revamped Assault class is directly related to those legends who are more about combat utility and creating openings. Because of this, Assault legends now get to open red loot pills, which have a secret drawer on the bottom, much like Lifeline's previous blue loot pills, but this drawer is filled with attachments to enhance your weapons. The attachments you will get are triggered by smart loot, so you will be getting upgrades every time if you do need them. Additionally to this, Assault legends do get to hold extra ammo of 1 stack or 1 cluster of ammo, which would be 80 light rounds instead of 60 as an example. From this, we do have the brand new class of legends of Skirmisher legends. Skirmisher legends are those who are more generally movement oriented legends, with maybe the exception of Mirage. The new class does have the ability to see the highest rarity item that isn't a care package at any time from anywhere. This even means when the care packages are not fully yet on the ground and they are still coming in from the sky. You can also see what item was already taken from a care package if it was opened. The thought process around this is that these movement legends are able to more easily get around to the packages, and they can make that decision a little earlier if they want to get right to it right away, or if they want to just tell the squad to forget it. After this, we do have Recon legends, but they are more purely about intel gathering and tracking enemies. The ability to scan recon beacons has been removed from the class in favor of a survey beacon, which does a one-time pulse of the map, much like Kings Canyon's map room, if you are familiar with this. The scan does last for 30 seconds, and it's pretty nice to see where enemy teams are, especially as the ring gets smaller, or if you are looking for a fight during the mid-game. But players should know that enemies will be notified of where the scan has come from, so you will somewhat be revealed. Controller legends are those legends with no skill and aim assist. I am just kidding, but these legends are the defensive legends, and they do have the ability to now scan recon beacons to see where the next ring is going to be. The reason behind this is that defensive legends are meant to take control and hold up areas, so giving them this intel capability as to where the ring is moving will better let them plan out their matches. Finally, we do have the good old support legends, which are centered around team survival and supply. Both Newcastle and Gibraltar have been added to this class to give it a little more love, but support legends do get to open all the secret drawers on the blue loot pills. The loot in here has also been buffed, so you will see more batteries and higher tier heals. One massive addition to the support class is that these legends can now craft expired teammates banners in the crafting machines. This means you can craft the banner and then head to the nearest respawn beacon to get your squad back into the battle. This is pretty wild, and it really means that players will never be out of the game as long as a crafter is available to use and you do have a support legend on the team. Changes to the legends do not end at all those brand new classes. There are quite a few legends getting adjusted this season, and this starts with the oh so lovely scan meta. Respawn did take a stab at the meta to overall reduce the amount or frequency of scans being used in Apex Legends. It seems proper to start with Seer, arguably the most frustrating legend for many. Seer's passive heartbeat has dramatically been nerfed. The ability to track enemies can only happen now when the heartbeat pulses. This means extreme real-time tracking is not going to be as noticeable. In addition to this, the frequency of scanning has been slowed down and is much louder to those enemies who are in range. Second, this is going to be Seer's ultimate, which now has a much longer cooldown timer, so he will need to take care and be a little bit more choosy as to when you want to use the ultimate. After Seer, we do have Bloodhound. The Hound's ultimate was heavily nerfed. Scanning no longer has faster cooldown when you are in the ultimate, and scans do not activate as quickly. Instead, Bloodhound now has a White Raven, which helps guide them to the nearest enemies. The main goal was to better further enhance and reinforce their tracking capabilities rather than scanning. The tactical scan as a whole has also been nerfed, where the active scan timer has been reduced. We didn't get specific numbers, but it does seem like it went from 3 seconds down to somewhere around 1 and 1.5 seconds where enemies will actually be scanned. Wraith and Pathfinder both get sizable ultimate buffs. Wraith's portal travels twice as far now to better compete with Valkyrie's rotational power. She also gets to run faster from 50% portal energy remaining all the way down to 0%, letting you traverse a little quicker and evade enemies at the end of her portal. Pathfinder zipline does get a buff of about double the distance, which means you can get massive zipline travels in there. I think this is going to be huge because in addition to further traveling ziplines of over 350 meters, you can also move about twice as fast when you are traveling on them. Horizon does see the return of the nerf to her lift. You will no longer have perfect accuracy when ascending in her lift, which I think is fair, but they actually gave the lift a small buff by letting you travel faster upwards when you are in it. I see this as kind of a negative net gain, but a solid adjustment to make Horizon more of a traversal and playmaking legend rather than a purely assaulting enemies with the lift. Lifeline sees a pretty nice buff of her care package coming in greatly faster now. It only takes a few seconds for it to come to the ground, which does mean you can get your loot faster and move on a little bit quicker rather than waiting for everyone to come over and kill you. A second buff for Lifeline is that she also now gets to move faster when you do hit that revive on players. The slowdown effect is not anywhere near as bad as it used to be, so you can be just more mobile and it should increase her survivability. Our boy Mirage finally gets some huge buffs this season, the most notable being to his passive ability. After reviving players, both Mirage and the player that just got revived have an additional 3 seconds of invisibility to better help them survive after getting up. One trade-off to having this cloak though is that you cannot draw your weapons or your invisibility will go away. A second buff to Mirage is that if players shoot the decoys and get bamboozled, that little icon that does signal you where the enemy is will be live and it's gonna follow players for a few seconds, which is pretty nice, and players now need to be even more careful to not shoot the decoys. Before we get to the weapon information, it is sad, but I do bring the bad news for some that Arenas is getting sunsetted and will no longer be in the game. Respawn stated that it just wasn't working and having 2 high stakes modes with the BR and Arenas wasn't really necessary. We do get something arguably even more exciting to take its place though, and this is Team Deathmatch. Team Deathmatch will be in a brand new playlist called Mixtape, which will be a permanent addition to the game and consist of Team Deathmatch primarily at launch, but then Control and Gun Run will also be in here from time to time. The playlist will also have new modes enter on an occasional basis. Team Deathmatch is that brand new way to play that is a bit less stressful than say Arenas was, and it will allow players to rapidly get acclimated to weapons and legends. It is round based, with the winning team needing to win 2 rounds to win the game. Each round ends at 30 kills and it is a 6v6 mode. Maps at launch are going to be Party Crasher, Habitat 4, and Skulltown. The weapon selection is much like Control, where you do have set loadouts that you can choose from, and you do have the ability to change your legend or weapon in the middle of a match. Other than this, there isn't a lot to know about Team Deathmatch. It's pretty simple. Get in there and practice up. We are finally getting a brand new weapon. The long-awaited and rumored Nemesis Burst Assault Rifle enters the game, and I can confidently say that it is literally insane. The Nemesis is a 4-round burst energy rifle with a base mag of 20 all the way up to 32 with a purple or gold mag. The main feature of this gun is its charge and firing feature. As you fire rounds, the weapon does charge up and it will let you shoot rounds faster and faster between bursts. If you do stop firing, that is okay, as the charge will stay at 100% for a little while, which is really nice as it's gonna let you reposition and you don't per se have to constantly be pulling that trigger to maintain the maximum charge and its damage output. Unlike the Hemlock, you can also hold down the trigger on the Nemesis, which does make it kind of like an automatic burst rifle. What is going to make this gun shine is its damage, which is very good. It does 17 damage per round to the body, which is 4 more than the R301, and it has a bigger base and upper magazine size. The total damage per mag is 544 damage versus the R301's 364, meaning you have almost 70% more damage potential. That being said, the only drawback is going to be the recoil, which is rightfully so. The recoil really does bounce left and right constantly, so it will take a little practice to get it down, but once you do, it is going to be absolutely busted. We did not get specific patch notes and numbers, but there are a few weapon meta adjustments to really be aware of. The weapon I was just talking about, the 301, finally gets a nerf of 1 damage per round down to 13 from 14 damage, which absolutely does give the Nemesis Burst IR a bigger chance to take the top spot. The Car SMG also receives a nerf of 1 bullet per magazine across the board, which should make the R99 a little bit more competitive and another viable option. Assault rifles across the board though did see a pretty sizable hipfire nerf. This will no longer make them as competitive in the super close range, which I do think is needed, and you'll really need to prioritize using weapons like SMGs or shotguns when you are in that close range battle. We do get a very nice addition of a gold shotgun bolt, which will increase the rate of fire of shotguns, but more importantly, they added the kinetic feeder attachment to that gold bolt, and let me tell you, this thing is freaking crazy. You no longer need big slides to get that reload to proc, which does mean natural movement in fights or rotations are going to reload your shotgun. Also, you can reload the weapon when it is stowed, giving you crazy potential to swap to SMG's spray while sliding around and getting reloads on that secondary. You can also reload multiple shotgun rounds in succession in a singular slide if you are going down something like a hill. A couple other small things to note: hammer point rounds return to the beak and the P2020, which is pretty cool, and the Volt and the longbow go into the crafter, and the hemlock does go into the care package, with the rampage returning to the floor. The hemlock is very good as a care packed weapon. It had buffs across the board, damage, fire rate, and it does have the boosted loader hop up on it now, and this thing was even buffed so it will reload 39 rounds per mag, which is huge, and the reload is a lot quicker than it used to be. We are not done yet. This is truly the season of a ton of adjustments to Apex Legends, and the firing range finally gets a sizable rework that it has needed for quite some time. And this is pretty timely considering the mobile version of Apex just got shut down. I will have a full video breaking down the changes, so stay tuned, but the general gist is a lot more customizable features to help you improve your skills. You can now turn on infinite ammo and customize what shield rarity you want those dummy bots to have. This will better help you train your weapons against various shield rarities depending on what point of a match you want to try to simulate, such as gray armor off the drop or red armor for endgame fights. You now also have the ability to turn on stats of your shots as well, so you can see how accurate you are or are not. And the biggest thing of them all for me is that you can turn on hit markers to see exactly how you are missing your shots. This will give you a real-time answer and analysis of what you need to do to correct your shot, which is pretty dope. And if you are looking for a slightly less linear training experience, you can turn on the dummy bots movement to have them strafe at various speeds and even crouch to help you learn how to track a strafing enemy. Additionally, you can have the moving signs in the distance move at crouch, walking, sprinting, and even zipline speed. This can simulate beaming someone at range, which again is a pretty cool feature to have. There is a lot of customization in the range now, so be sure to check it out. Before we get to the map rotation and some ranked information, I'll just say that there are heirloom shards for the coming anniversary event, and the Battle Pass Tier 100 skin is a mastiff. I am a little bit tired talking about cosmetics in Apex, as I think the practices have gone down in quality over the past year, and I don't want to give them any more attention than this. We have some exciting changes to the ranked map rotation, but for starters, the featured maps this season are going to be Broken Moon, Stormpoint, and World's Edge. There are not too many changes to the maps, but Mirage Voyage returns in a similar manner to the old Mirage Voyage with a couple of adjustments and secret twists. Mirage's ship does go on all 3 of the maps, and other than this, all the maps have been anniversarized with balloons and banners, but this is purely a cosmetic or visual update. It doesn't really have any effect on gameplay. The ranked maps this season are changing on a daily basis, which is interesting. If you don't like one of the maps, you can wait for another day to play ranked, but not everyone has the freedom to play on specific days, so who knows how this will really pan out. Either way, I do think it will be pretty nice to have some more variation in the ranked play if you are signing on every day. Check out this video right here for even more content on Season 16. I will see you in the next one.